We've seen in our last few previous Evidence for God devotionals that the earth requires H2O and that Earth's environmental conditions allow for the existence of H2O in its three required forms of solid, mostly in ice in the Arctic regions and ice caps, liquid in the form of water in the non-Arctic regions or way underneath the ice even there, and gas in the form of evaporated gas. It's actually found all over the planet and in our atmosphere and in our bodies. And as you look at the distribution of H2O around the world, you find this amazing balance, not of equal portions, but of just the right portions. Again, just like Goldilocks and the Three Bears fairy tale, where everything has to be just right. And it is on planet Earth, the universe's only known Goldilocks planet, able to host life and to do so in amazing comfort for us human beings, who are the highest, most intelligent form of life in the universe. As I said, we have a planet that is like Goldilocks, and Goldilocks is balanced. She's not imbalanced when it comes to this threefold state of H2O, which otherwise would be detrimental to life on Earth. The importance of this balance should be obvious, just as someone is called imbalanced because they're unable to function properly and they cause great difficulty to those around them if they're imbalanced. If Earth didn't have the right balance of solid, liquid, and gas, then H2O in those forms, life would become not only just difficult, it would be not even possible. For example, only 3% of Earth's water is fresh water. 97% of H2O on Earth is saline. It's salt water in oceans and seas mainly. Now, that sounds like a lot of saline and a low amount of fresh water, but the reality is it's the perfect amount of fresh water for life on Earth. Not only that, but nearly 70% of that small amount of fresh water is ice. It's like storing freshwater reserves in the top and bottom freezer at the poles and in the ice caps of our mountains. And it's the perfect arrangement, leaving around 30% of our freshwater supply in liquid form. Meanwhile, this liquid freshwater supply is designed so that around 87% of that is in natural reservoirs called lakes, with about 10% in swamps and only about 3% in rivers. Again, that's not intuitive. I would think we'd need much more fresh water and much more of that fresh water in liquid form. But if that were to be the case, Earth would be flooded and our atmosphere would be out of kilter and life would not survive. Now, some have been brainwashed with fake news and will object and say, but there's a shortage of fresh water in places like California and parts of Africa. But that's just not true. The reason for water shortages are always explained by three main elements. First, there's bad water use practices. Secondly, the lack of development. And then thirdly, political corruption. We don't have time to get into all the details about that here, but the fact remains that once you implement sound water use practices, develop your water systems, including your wells, irrigation, damming, storage, distribution, etc., and then you remove corrupt politicians from the equation, there's plenty of H2O, and there's plenty of freshwater access. There's plenty of H2O storage in oceans, lakes, and glaciers. There's just the right amount of H2O in gas form for the atmosphere and for our internal bodily functions. Earth is a Goldilocks planet because of our Creator. He put just the right balance of H2O on our Goldilocks planet so that we can live and thrive as best as could be expected in a fallen world that's still subject to sin and death until Jesus comes and restores things to its original condition, as Revelation 21:1 prophesies, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea." At that time, everything will be different. But in this time, right now, we need water, and we need it exactly the way God has put it here. It's an amazing evidence for God.